It's a beautiful day out and you're walking to your mailbox. You open up your mailbox and there's some mail. You open it up and there's a letter inside. You read it and realize you're going to have to pay how much extra each month?
So my drug coverage got cut off. When people lose their drug coverage or don't have drug coverage to begin with, it brings up this question of, well, can I afford to take my medications? Is this worth it to kind of be broke over medications? And should I stop taking my medications? So, I'm kind of left grappling with that. So I'm going to go to the drugstore to figure out how much my meds cost me per year.
For 1 full year?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm back from the drugstore, and what I found out was that per year, my total insurance pays $4,954, and total patient pays was $10. So a total of about $5,000 per year. This is about, I think, $420-ish per month. So, I'm kind of left feeling like, well, where is that going to come from now all of a sudden? Because I was on, just to give some context, I was on a disability support program, which was really helpful because I was finding it very hard to maintain stable employment because of my illness. And so that was really helpful in terms of having just a monthly stipend as well as complete drug coverage and health benefits coverage. When I started to make a little bit more money, they cut off the stipend, which is totally fair. That's fine. But they told me I was going to be able to stay on the health benefits coverage as well. But that ended up not being the case. And they transferred me from this disability support program, to a more general Alberta adult health benefit. Alberta's where I live. And they told me that through this, I would still have health benefits. So drug coverage, dental, vision, emergency ambulance rides, all that kind of stuff. But the main one that I really needed was drug coverage. But about a month in, I got this letter in the mail saying that I'm not eligible at renewal for this health benefit because my income exceeds the program maximum. So I was like, oh no. What do I do? My drugs aren't going to be covered. So I looked at, what the maximum income is. And for a couple, combined income, the maximum that you're allowed to make is $23,212 per year. So, if I was making that as the maximum income that I was allowed to make, and I subtracted the $5,000 that my medication cost me per year, that's about $18,000 left to live on throughout the year. And, that's kind of well below the poverty line. And so I'm kind of left thinking, well, can I afford this added expense now every month? And should I stop taking my medication? So if you're living on, $18,000 a year after drug coverage, that kind of puts you in the position of, well, do I spend this money on drugs that I need, or do I spend it on rent, or do I spend it on food? Kind of life or death questions that you're asking about how you should spend your money, which leads people to be like, well, is it worth it to spend it on medications? Should I stop taking my medications? And, I'll be okay. We'll make some changes in our life. We'll switch to one-ply toilet paper, instant noodles. But, for a lot of people, it's a very serious question, as to how they're going to make it, how they're going to get by with this additional expense. I think this is something that a lot of people with chronic illnesses face, having to shell out an extra, $5,000 or $420 per month is probably on the lower end. If I was on an injectable, I think it was costing about $1,400 a month for that. And so that is just astronomical in terms of yearly expenses for these drugs to treat illnesses like schizophrenia. And on top of that, I'm also speaking from a position of privilege in that I live in Canada where these drug prices are subsidized initially by the government too. So, if I lived in the States or somewhere else where they don't subsidize medications, this monthly cost would be even higher. Another thing that's really frustrating about navigating getting these health benefits and drug coverage and whatnot is just the immense bureaucracy around it all. So in order to get on the disability program in the first place, it took so much paperwork and documents from my psychiatrist and whatnot to get onto that. And it was like a 6-month process to get onto that drug coverage. And that was supposed to be for life, but it's not. And I've had to, reapply a couple times. And then there was further paperwork with this additional health benefit program. And then now I'm having to do additional paperwork to contest this letter that I got saying that I'm not eligible for renewal of drug coverage. And I'm not super optimistic that they will accept that. I doubt that I'm going to be able to have any sort of drug coverage, through any of these programs anymore. So I just kind of wanted to draw people's attention to this because, this whole process and, having to pay so much for medications that are ultimately life-saving in terms of keeping people stable is a very stressful thing to go through, which exacerbates symptoms, which can potentially lead to hospitalization, which is, further costs and whatnot. And then also, just having this additional expense every month that's can potentially be rather huge leads people to question, should I even take my medications? Which can also lead to, potential relapse and having to be hospitalized again. And it's a really dangerous cycle that's being perpetuated by this. And so I know I'm not alone in the struggle of trying to get disability coverage for medications and that kind of thing. So I would love to hear your experiences too in the comments below of navigating the health system in terms of accessing supports and these disability programs for drug coverage and whatnot. All right, so I will try to keep you guys updated on how the situation pans out for me, but if you are going through something similar, I'm right there with you. I'm sorry that you're going through that. So I'm wishing you guys all the best in terms of navigating your respective mental health care systems, and as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Imagine walking to the mailbox.